Today we were joined by 50 volunteers to plant trees in the Armourdale neighborhood. Trees have a ton of environmental and social benefits. They cool our neighborhoods, they help intercept stormwater, they clean our air and help filter our water, and they knit our communities together because there's no better way to meet your neighbors than out in the shady spot in the park. Today we added 32 trees to this neighborhood. If you don't know about Armourdale, it's the hottest part of Wyandotte County, and it's also sandwiched in between two really large rail yards. And so the greener we can make this neighborhood, the reduced rates of childhood asthma we'll see, because when there's that green for that diesel particulate or other matter that's kicked up from trains and semi-trucks, it lands on that leaf, and then the next rain it gets washed into the soil and it doesn't end up in our lungs. So beyond just the beautification and environmental benefits, we really are growing the next generation, as you could say.
Kansas Forest Service is really proud to partner with Bridging the Gap, where we were able to provide this one-time funding through the IRA grant, where we were able to give over $100,000 towards newly planted trees in the Wyandotte County area of Kansas City, Kansas.
We are so excited that Bridging the Gap has come out to Armourdale and planted trees in our neighborhood. Armourdale is a underinvested neighborhood in the urban core, so bringing more plant life and tree canopy is really important to the future health of our residents and our neighborhoods. So we are just thrilled that you guys are here today.
It always feels good to get out and do good in your communities, meet with other people and learn some things. So today I learned how to plant the proper way to plant a tree. I've planted trees. I'm not sure I planted them the proper way. That was great.
As I mentioned, I think this is the hottest part of the city, and then more trees means more like fresh air, good for people living around. So.
Yeah, and I feel like it just makes the community a little more vibrant, friendly, and approachable as well.
So today we've got a group of about 60 volunteers coming out and planting 32 trees here in the Armourdale area on Shawnee Park and in the baseball diamond. We've got groups from Crosslines here, which is right down the road, H&R Block, a couple different community groups and people from the community come out to help plant the trees. It's all through Kansas Forestry Service. We receive funding through the IRA, Inflation Reduction Act. We're out here to kind of help reforest some areas of Kansas City. Armourdale actually falls within the urban heat island, one of the hardest, if not the hardest part of the city. So it's nice to be able to kind of get all these people together, help do our part, and kind of try and help mitigate that. I grew up, I'm KCK original, Dot original. I used to coach a soccer team. We used to play on those soccer courts over there. We used to come to this park. We've had barbecues in this park. I spent a lot of time here. I grew up going to Crosslines. With my family, we'd go there for lunch sometimes. I volunteered there a few times. I spent a lot of time in this area specifically, and I live right down the road. So to be able to do that, not only be able to do that myself, but to also be able to bring other people in and give them that feeling of helping out a community that really needs it, means a lot to me personally. The cool thing about this park is actually they had already kind of given us some funding to be able to plant 10 trees a few years back. Unfortunately, they were doing some kind of construction and kind of putting in bus stops, different things in the area. So we kind of put a pause on that. And the timing actually worked out kind of great. After receiving funding from the Kansas Forest Service, we were actually given about 3 times and even then some, as many trees as we were originally planting. Again, it falls within that hottest part of the city, and just already kind of having plans to do something here, the timing worked out perfectly to have this be the launch project of sorts for the plantings coming in.
I would say it is harder labor than some other volunteering, but it's very rewarding. You immediately get to see the tree in the ground, and then like my boss said earlier, you can drive by later and see it in the ground and be like, I planted that, I can see it grow. And
yeah, for sure, like 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road, whenever you're driving, you can say, hey, that's the tree I planted. So yeah, it's obviously rewarding.
The hardest part is just say yes and come out. You won't regret it. You definitely will leave on a high. You get, anytime you serve and do good for others, you get like that dopamine, and it's just a great experience. So I've really enjoyed the time with coworkers and also just getting some fresh air and vitamin D.
So today we were joined by 50 plus volunteers, both community members and corporate groups. We're a staff of only 10 and we plant maybe 1,500 trees a season. So we definitely could not do it without that volunteer support. Just like the age-old adage is, many hands make light work, and collective action is much more impactful than any of us could be alone. So we really rely on that volunteer power to leave a legacy, as we say.